Hi, I have a few thoughts I wanted to share about some of my experiences this week with Arthur getting sick. Some of you know that he got sick this week. And so here I am. I will be folding laundry, and I have snot on my shirt and no makeup on. And um, I have about 10 minutes probably until Arthur comes running in here. So I'm going to just take this raw moment to share some of the things that I experienced and some thoughts I have about taking care of sick babies and taking care of ourselves. So earlier this week, in the middle of the night, Arthur woke up and all I could hear was this really strange sound I had never heard. And I could tell that he was crying, but it wasn't a normal cry. And when I went in there, he was so upset and kind of gasping for breath. He couldn't even talk. He could not tell me anything. And so I get him out of bed, and he's trying to cry, but he can't really cry because he doesn't have the breath to cry. So he's absolutely terrified. And of course, in that moment, my heart was beating really fast because I want to understand what's going on. And he is obviously really scared and struggling. And so I ended up getting my husband up, who's, oh my gosh, he's the kick ass at staying calm and being very, uh, very intelligent in a stressful situation. And I just adore him for that. The thing is that normally in a situation like this, I would completely panic. That's just my personality style. I've been a worrier for most of my life. But that I've really been working on shifting that for myself. And I really, really didn't want my fear to be filtered through to Arthur. So one of the first things that I did as I felt myself feeling the fear of, oh my God, my child can't breathe right, something is seriously wrong, I decided, I put in my mind, I put myself into like an energy bubble that I do this actually every day, but in this moment, I really needed it. So in my mind, I put myself in an energy bubble. It's like this gold, beautiful bubble that allows me to be with Arthur, but it protects him from my emotions. It also lets my love and my calmness through to him rather than the fear that I was experiencing. So I'm doing this as I'm sitting here waiting for my husband to get stuff ready for us so we can go to the emergency room. And Arthur starts to calm down a little bit, and I feel really strong knowing that I could send him the peace and the love. You know, I'm rocking him and doing all of that stuff too, of course. But I'm also really being careful about what is happening to my own energy with him. And he starts to calm down, and luckily by the time we got in the car, he was breathing better, but still not really able to talk to us very much. And so in the car, I'm still scared. My husband's very calm. He's driving. He's like, it's probably croup. It turns out he was right later. Just the wisest man. I adore him. Um, so my husband driving, and I was sitting there in the car, imagining our ER, which we have only one hospital where we live, and it's always busy and has been incredibly busy. I mean, they were talking about lines out the door and wait times in our ER lately, just because of the flu primarily. And so as we're driving, I am actually literally like praying to the angels and just imagining the angels going ahead of our car and clearing the emergency room and um, opening the place up so that Arthur could get care as soon as possible. Um, and you know what? When we arrived at the emergency room, it was the emptiest it had been in a really long time. There were still people there, but there weren't the hordes of people who really needed like emergency like surgery and stuff ahead of us. So that I was incredibly grateful for that. And it also allowed me a moment to realize that we're not alone. That's something I'm really sitting deep and sinking into that truth that I'm not alone. We are not alone. There is magic and miracle out there. And even a few years ago, it would have been hard for me to understand that or really necessarily to buy into it, but I'm experiencing it. And I know that my ability to, I guess, use meditation on a regular basis. I do walking meditations or just like guided imagery meditations every day that I can during the week. That is allowing me to access like a quieter, deeper place that helps me to show up for my son and to show up without the worry and the panic, the anxiety that I have had previously in my life. And that's a gift. It's a gift to myself, and it's a huge gift to my son. So he had two calm parents. Of course, I think JJ was still even calmer than me, because that's just how incredible he is. And I'm learning, and I'm really proud of that. It's something I wanted to share. Like, if we as parents pay attention to our own energy and kind of ground ourselves deep within, connect ourselves to whatever higher power we believe in, that's a huge benefit to our families. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was taking care of ourselves while we're taking care of sick babies. And that can be really challenging for us to do. Hair, I mean, obviously it is for me. I don't even have makeup on. My hair's a mess, although I did get it cut yesterday, and that's part of the story. So Arthur was diagnosed with the croup. He has to stay home. He's super contagious, and he is so cranky. Just the poor kid does not feel good. Yesterday we had a really hard day where he is melting down left and right. Nothing would make him happy, completely inconsolable, because he couldn't get his shark to eat the water. I mean, what does that even mean? I don't know. And so we just went from one meltdown where he's on the floor screaming and crying and throwing things to another all day long. And it's been almost 3 days of that. I've stayed home from work 3 days in a row to take care of him. And how am I taking care of myself? So one of the things is I had a haircut scheduled before he got sick, and normally I would have canceled it, to be honest, because I'm his mom. I should be the one taking care of him, because it's too big a burden to ask somebody to take care of my sick son. So I can go for an hour and a half to get my hair cut. But this year, I have a new vision guiding me. Some people come up with intentions for the year or come up with New Year's resolutions. Well, some of us come up with our like theme word for the year, and mine was ask for more. I know it's more than one word, but mine was ask for more. So knowing this, I ended up working to figure out who I could ask to take care of Arthur. And it turns out that I asked his dad. And I never thought that it would work out, because his dad works such crazy hours and he never gets home so early. My appointment was at 3:00, but I asked his dad, and guess what? I got to go get my hair cut. That's why it's like 6 inches shorter, maybe 7. So I was able to take a little break from the screaming and the crying. Arthur was able to stay with his father and be well taken care of and well looked after, and everybody was taken care of that way. So this is really a lesson of many lessons this week for me and being a mom, and I hope that some of them resonate for you. I hope this has given you some ideas of how you can also find ways of taking care of yourself emotionally and spiritually while your child is sick. because it's a scary place to be in. And I'm going to be here again. All parents have this moment of terror, and we have them probably multiple times during our life. Some of us end up having them more deeply and more long lastingly than others. So the more that we can prepare ourselves and prepare our hearts and our spirits for these times where we do have to be really resilient and strong, and I call it steely willed in the face of adversity and fear around our child. When we are able to do that, oh my gosh, it helps tremendously. It really empowered me to show up more boldly for my son, and also empowered me to ask for more. And I was able to receive, and I'm really grateful for that. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.